Welcome back, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. My name is Pritesh with KAIZN Crypto. In this video, I'm joined by Juan, aka Peppers, one of the founders of Cypherkicks and Hypebeasts. So we're going to be talking about CNFT projects today. Peppers, welcome to the channel. Thanks so much for joining. How are you doing today?
Thank you, man. Doing well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Pleasure to have you. So this project was really interesting. You know, you actually did a KAIZN Cypherkicks, and we have a few delegators to our stake pools who are big sneaker fans. You know, they love the idea that you had with Cypherkicks when you first started with this project. So I'm excited to speak with you, and really grateful for our delegators who were able to introduce me to this project as well. So I guess to get things started, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you started with Cardano and NFTs, and then where are you at right now with some of the things that you're working on?
Yeah. So a quick summary about myself. I'm an engineer. Industrial engineering is my actual major. I'm actually getting graduated in like 1 to 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, I'm graduating from engineering finally.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And all my life I've like doing illustrations, and I'm a sneakerhead. Like that's one of the big things I love. And I always like look for ways to create art that incorporated both styles, like sneakerheads with illustrations. I love minimalism. I know Cypherkicks is not exactly minimalism, but I always try to keep everything as clean as possible in terms of like the art style. Back in January of last year, I was interested in NFTs because of a podcast I listened to from the New York Times, The Daily. And they talked about NFTs, they talked about the technology behind it, but they mostly focused on Ethereum, right? So as a, aspiring artist and, a student, I was looking for, ways to, try to maybe profit from my art, right? So one of my dreams was always to be able to live from that instead of, going for a corporate job. So I went online, I did some research, and one of the things that I found is that it costs a lot of money to create NFTs on Ethereum, right? There's the gas fees, there's regular transaction fees. It's something that was just simply not on my budget, especially as someone that nobody knew, right? So there on ETH, you could see like most collections that made some money were collections very well known that had connections in the space, right? So in that moment, I just decided not to be part of the NFT world. I decided that it wasn't something for me, and even though I respected the technology behind it, I decided to stop looking for information. It was just a very discouraging moment because all my life I've been trying to create art that I love and try to share with the world. And my then girlfriend, who is now my wife, told me, she used to tell me like, why don't you show this to people? Like go on Facebook, go online, maybe try to create one of those and see what happens, right? So I always had that in the back of my mind. And fast forward, I joined this beautiful, amazing community, the Ergo community, which is another blockchain very close to Cardano. In fact, Charles Hoskinson is a very, very big fan of Ergo.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time with Ergo. I made a lot of connections, became friends with some people inside of the Ergo Foundation. Even talked on a weekly basis with Koshti, the founder of Ergo. And I started to learn more about decentralized blockchains, truly decentralized blockchains. Not stuff that is founded by VCs or things like that. And Ergo is one of the most decentralized ones in the space. So one of the really cool things that I noticed is that there were NFTs on Ergo. So I tried my luck, and I was surprised. Like people were buying my NFTs on Ergo. Obviously not Ethereum, thousands of dollars per NFTs, but close to the hundreds, right? So that was very encouraging for me. I realized like, oh, there's a market for the stuff that I'm creating. Later on, one of the biggest NFT creators in Ergo, he's known as Fo, and he's the creator of Ergnomes, right? So he worked with he released some NFTs on Cardano, and that's when I my first question was, are there NFTs on Cardano? Like I had no idea, right?
Sure.
And back then there was space bots, clay, like ones that remain, not many, man. Not even Cardano trees. This was before Cardano trees, before Yummy, I think, even, or around that time, yeah. So I was just encouraged, like, oh, Cardano has NFTs. Let's go see, because I actually had investments on Cardano. I was investing on Cardano at the time. So I went, I checked the marketplaces. There weren't many. I think there was the NFT.io, but it was very glitchy, hard to use. So a lot of people were doing like escrow deals back then, even like P2P
like
trades.
the Discord days before smart contracts. I remember there would be like Discord servers set up for your CNFT trades. You'd have like a middleman between two parties, and you'd be able to trade like that.
Yeah, a lot of scams back then, but it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. We were a smaller community back then for sure, but there were space bots. There were still like the holy grail. People wanted the space bots. Clay Nation came out later, and we came around that time, around the time Clay Nation came out as well. In fact, I think we came around that time, because I knew Claymates. I didn't know Clay Nation. They released Clay Nation eventually, and yeah, we released the first few Cypherkicks as a test. I just designed 100, and they sold in 2 days. People just kept messaging me, and it was a P2P transaction. I didn't even do a drop or anything. I just created a website, added the designs. People told me like, oh, I want number 73. They paid for it, and at one moment, this is a moment I'll never forget in my life, probably. One guy DMs me, and I created the number 1 of the whole collection. It's called Be Like Mike, and it's like based on my favorite shoes ever. The Jordan Chicago's 1985. Beautiful shoes, like the holy grail of sneaker collecting. And I told my girl, I'm gonna put this at 1,000 ADA, because I think no one will ever pay 1,000 ADA for them. And then I can say, I'm keeping them, because they're my favorite shoes, and it's the holy grail for my collection. And one guy DMs me, and he's like, yo, I want the $1,000 ADA ones. I was like floored, man. ADA was $3 back then, around $3. So I was like, don't tell me I'm making $3,000 from one artwork. Don't tell me that, please. And I asked him, like, are you kidding? Like, are you sure? And he was sure. He bought them, then sold them for like, I think 5,008 or something like that. Okay. But at some moments he had offers of, I think he had an offer of like 12,008 for them, like a few weeks after he bought them. Yeah. Wow. Because the whole thing just happened really quickly for me. When we released this, after I sold the 100, I thought, it would be good to get a boost from other projects that I'm friends with. So I'm very close to the project Ergodex because of my days from Ergo. And they told me like, oh yeah, it would be super cool if we do like an Ergodex Cypherkicks shoe. And if we actually customize a pair of Jordans and add the Ergodex logo to it. And I was like, are you wait, there's something here. So we did that. We got those shoes, the shoes customized in Russia, actually, because the Ergodex, some of the founders are actually located in Russia. And one guy won them, and it was incredible, man. We did 2 Ergodex shoes. One of them sold for around 1,000 to 2,008, I think. It's crazy. I mean, the guy who won them, he always tells me like, my life changed the moment, I sold those shoes because he won them for free. Wow. Yeah, and yeah, it's been a crazy ride, man. But it's and we also released the the KAIZN Cypherkicks giveaway. I think we released 2 of them. I think you have one, and someone else won the other one. Yep. And the other person, I think he never sold them. Like he still has them.
No, yeah, he's one of our delegators. Yeah, very good friend. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad to see that he got those.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's amazing. But yeah, that's a quick summary of how it started, how Cypherkicks started, and ever since we released 5,000 Cypherkicks, they all sold the days we released them, season 1 to season 5, and it's been great. We've been able to build an amazing community. Over 12,000 people on on social media, on Discord, over 11,000 people on Twitter. So the community keeps growing, and it's something that every single day I'm still amazed that this is happening.
That's really cool. Wow, what a story. You know, it's just amazing to think about. So you initially started with Ergo, right? You were a little bit discouraged looking at Ethereum and the cost, the barrier to entry there. But then, you know, going into like these scalable blockchains, you know, and stumbling onto Cardano, I think that's really interesting. Just in your experience, were you like new to the whole staking thing, or like was that a learning curve for you as well? Like, what was that like going from Ergo? Because Ergo is proof of work still, and then you've got Cardano, which is proof of stake. So like delegating to pools, and what was the experience like with that?
Yeah, I was actually mining Ergo back then, and I obviously knew a little bit about the implications of energy consumption from proof of work, and I still to this day understand that there might be a need for proof of work blockchains. That's why I still hold my Ergo, and it has some advantages over proof of stake, like security, privacy in some cases. However, proof of stake has, in what my opinion is, just a more modern approach to blockchain development. Um, when I learned about proof of stake and delegating, I just thought it was too good to be true. I was like, wait, so I have 1,000 ADA right now. In a year, you're gonna give me 6 ADA for free, or 70 ADA for free, or 100 ADA for free? That makes no sense. Why are you giving me money? For just holding money? It makes no sense. But yeah, when I learned about it, I went in depth in my research, understanding how it works, why proof of stake works the way it works, and what are the advantages. And obviously, it makes a lot of sense. It's a great system, and yeah, Cardano really developed something that it's become the example to follow. I mean, Ethereum moving from proof of work to proof of stake is proof of that, right? And it's just simply something that I deeply believe is the future of blockchain.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, just to think about the different blockchains and all the different use cases. So I do think that there is room for both proof of work and proof of stake. But yes,
Definitely.
I do agree. You know, proof of stake is really a marvel of technology, and just to think what they've done with Cardano, it's like this academic research,
It's
right? All
amazing.
these scientific papers. So it's really interesting. But yeah, going back to your project. So with these CNFTs, now I'd want to talk about Cypherkicks, and then we can go ahead and branch off into what you have with Hypebeasts. I think it's really cool. So there's a little bit of a correlation there between the two projects. The sneaker aspect. So a lot of sneakerheads out there, you know, and there's going to be a big market for that with these NFTs. Just thinking out loud here, is there, in terms of the additional utility and benefit of holding these tokens, let's say, for instance, I'm a holder of one of these NFTs. What's the chance of being able to say, okay, well, this actually represents a physical sneaker in the real world? Have you guys thought about that, and like how it relates to fashion and supply chains and things like that?
So yeah, one of the things that it's very important to understand about the world of sneakers is that exclusive drops have become the norm. So for example, you know how when you want to buy an NFT from a project, they do a drop, right? And they say, okay, there's only 10,000 of these. So if you want to buy them, you have to be on our website at this time, at this date, and you have to be lucky, because there's probably going to be a lot of demand for these NFTs. So you go and you try to mint, and maybe you get them, maybe you don't, right? This is very similar to what Nike does, actually. Nike and Yeezy, the two biggest brands of streetwear sneakers, in the world, they do this same concept. So when you go on the sneaker app, you register, you wait for the day. Usually it's 9 a.m. And when they do the drop, you click on buy. If you get lucky, you get lucky. If you don't get lucky, then try next time. If you get them, they tell you you got them. So it's a very, very similar process. The only difference is that with NFTs, you can know how many NFTs a project sold. With Nike, you don't. You have no idea. You have to trust their word. If they say, "Oh, these are very rare," then you have to trust them. And that's where we go back to the whole, blockchain technology. We need trustless systems, because when I'm buying an asset and a company tells me, "Oh, there's only 10,000 sneakers of those," how do I know if that's true? I have no way of like counting them. I have no way of like going to Malaysia, going to China, going to Japan, going to Singapore, going to Venezuela, going to Argentina, and trying to see how many people actually were able to buy those sneakers. They could be selling 20,000. They could be selling 50,000, and it would be impossible for us to know. So that's where we go with, we go back to with blockchain technology, trust versus trustless systems, right? So with Cypherkicks, we're trying to approach a way in which we're able to do drops of sneakers. One of our hopes is to do customized sneakers. Like, for example, buy 100 Nike shoes, customize them differently so they look good, maybe with some really cool colors, textures. We change things, which is 100% legal. There's a lot of companies in the US that do this. There's a lot of artists that buy sneaker shoes and sneakers from Nike, Adidas, other brands, customize them and sell them. It's just the way we see it. It's art, right? And collectibles. But we want to make sure that people can trust that when we say we're only selling 100 of these, there's only 100 of these. And we want to make sure that when people buy these, they know they're real, that they're authentic, they're not counterfeit. Counterfeit is a $1 billion market around the world every single year. Billions of dollars, actually. It's something incredible. Louis Vuitton spends over $5 to $6 million a year on counterfeit measures to fight counterfeiting. So one of our goals with Cypherkicks is to find a way to create a system that allows people to know if their item that they're buying is authentic or if it's counterfeit, right? Doing this with Cardano is possible. We are working on that, and we believe that by this year we'll have a system that people can use for that. Eventually, we want to branch out and offer this system to other brands, well-known brands, sneaker stores, so that people who buy, one of the biggest examples in the world is, say I get a pair of shoes for $100, right? From the drop, right? I go to a reseller and I tell them, oh, I bought these shoes from you, a month ago, but I don't have the receipt. And usually the sneaker stores, they want to be good with you. They want to, take care of their customers. So they'll tell you, okay, I'll give you a $500 credit, or I'll refund you $500 because that's the price of the shoes. Well, you could be making a $400 profit from the company. You're basically, in a way, stealing from them. So if we can find a way to offer this process, these systems to sneaker stores, to retailers, to even brands, then we would be offering them something that could save them, in a practical sense, thousands to millions of dollars per year. So that's one of the things that we want to do with Cypherkicks. It's something that we are working on the back end of things. It's not something that is ready to be released. Now you can build something like that in days, as you probably know. But it's one of the goals with Cypherkicks. And in terms of like using Cypherkicks for representing real sneakers, what we actually want to do is, when we do these drops, only people who hold the Cypherkicks will have access to these drops. And what we want to do is that these sneakers will be backed by shoes. So imagine if we do a drop, you won't be actually buying the shoe. You will be buying a receipt or a token that represents a sneaker, a pair of sneakers. So you have the NFT. It will probably be animated or 3D or something like that. The artwork will be really cool, but you will be able to redeem that on our website for the actual sneakers. So you have two options. You actually buy the sneakers, or you hold the NFT, which is backed by a physical pair of sneakers, and you resell it to someone who might be more interested in the future. So if we release 50, they will most likely be in high demand, and a lot of people will be most likely open to pay more than the retail price that we set for the sneakers. So it's definitely something that will happen with Cypherkicks in the near future. We're working on the details. We're working on the artwork. We're working on sourcing the sneakers that we need to use for this. But it's something that will definitely happen. I believe that a lot of brands worldwide will see the benefit from this, from what we're trying to do. We're trying to innovate in Cardano, but I'm pretty sure a lot of brands will try to move to this method. The same way Nike decided to move from the distribution method that they had before. If we release 10,000 Jordan 1s, we send them to our partner stores, right? Before. Now what they do is they sell them directly to people through the sneakers app. So they move from the physical aspect of it, of distributing the items physically to partners, to using online tools to sell them directly to customers through drops. So now people don't have to do lines in a store. Now they only have to do a line or form a queue on the sneakers app. But I believe they will slowly move or transition to the Web3 world, which they already doing with the Artifact project on Ethereum. But here's something very interesting. One of the things that people complain the most about of their partnership on Ethereum is the gas fees. And that's something that Cardano can fix. So they will, if they want to take this to the mass market, if they want to be able to do actual drops with Web3 development, that will not happen on Ethereum because people are not willing to pay $30, $40, $50 above the asking price of the sneakers. They're just not willing to do that at a mass level. Now, if you release 100, yeah, sure. A lot of people will buy the NFT and the shoe and they will pay the gas fee. But if you want to release 20,000, 50,000 every week, no way. That's just not going to happen. So this is something that we'll fix with Cardano, and hopefully, you know, we're always open to working with other brands, even big brands, on using this type of technology for what they want to do in the future.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. I remember maybe it's been a while now, I would say even longer than a year ago, there was an announcement from Adidas saying that they had this proof of concept for similar to what you're talking about with like a, you know, like an RFID chip or like an NFC based solution, which is kind of like going to allow you to prove, okay, this is an authentic sneaker. So it's really interesting to hear what you guys are thinking about. It's like, instead of standing in line at a sneaker store, right? How many of these are actually being created? We now have a way to verify the exact quantities. You know, you can actually just have the token which represents the physical sneaker, so you can send and receive, transact peer-to-peer. It's really interesting just to think of the different use cases for it.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And this is something that we're also looking for. You know, NFC technology paired with NFT technology can be a very useful tool for authentication. So we're definitely looking into this for the products that we sell through the Cypherkicks brand.
Very excited for that. That's awesome. So Peppers, the other project that we're talking about today is Hypebeasts. So give us a bit of an introduction about that. Is it related to Cypherkicks, or is it something totally different?
It's something crazy. So, Hypebeasts, we actually went next level with this, man. I took everything that I have learned from Cypherkicks, from being part of the NFT community, from every single research I've done on Ethereum, on Solana, on Cardano, and we came up with this new idea. So we, instead of doing a sale and selling these Hypebeasts, you know, for 80, 100 ADA each, which could have been, you know, something very easily accomplishable by us, we decided to reward Cypherkicks holders and give them each one Hypebeast for free. So that's exactly what we did. We designed the whole project, we created all the artwork, and we told the community, you know, for every Cypherkicks that you have, you will receive a Hypebeast. And I think it was March 31st, because we promised this for Q1. March 31st was the last day of Q1. So we released this airdrop, and we sent the whole Cypherkicks community a free Hypebeast for every single Cypherkicks they own. So now, if someone wants to buy a Hypebeast, they cannot buy it from me, and they cannot buy it from my project. They have to buy it from the community itself, which has been incredible, a big success so far. Floor prices have, you know, stayed very high, you know, around the 100 ADA. For an unrevealed collection that all the NFTs look the same for now, that's something insane. Something that I'm very proud of. The community knows the value of these NFTs that we're selling, and they're holding up to them. On Sunday, so tomorrow, based on today's recording, we will actually reveal every single one for free, and the community will be able to see actually which NFTs they got. The Hypebeasts are very interesting because they have an open policy, which means that we can customize them. And the reason why we're doing that is so people can customize the way the Hypebeasts look. One of the big problems, in my opinion, with NFTs, or one of the biggest issues that exists with most collections, is that when you buy an NFT, you have that's what you get, right? That's it. They don't change. They, you know, maybe like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 100 years from now, they will still look the same. And maybe that NFT doesn't represent who you are. Imagine, you know, buying an NFT for $5,000, $10,000, and that NFT has maybe a trait or something that you don't appreciate or you don't like, but you bought it because you want to be part of the project. The way we're solving this is we're actually developing, and we'll be releasing very soon, Q2, a marketplace that will allow holders to customize the way their NFTs look like. And this is something that we promised back in December, I think, December, January. And it's actually something that Nike announced a few days ago. I think it was yesterday. They will be doing the same thing with their collection on Ethereum. So it's something that, I'm very proud about the fact that I came up with this idea back in December. We're putting that into practice. We already developed the backend for this. And, other projects, other huge projects, multinational companies are coming up with the same process, but on other blockchains. On Ethereum, it will be us. You will be able to, for example, if your Hypebeast has like a leather jacket, but you don't like leather jackets. You're not a motorcycle fan, or you just don't like them, or you don't like the way they look with your Hypebeast or with the other traits that they have. Maybe if we release something with a brand, for example, the sneaker store that we partner with in Orlando, maybe it's going to be a hoodie or something more streetwear like, then you can buy it from the marketplace and you can customize your Hypebeast with it. And the way we will be doing this is through drops on the marketplaces. We will announce the items that will be released a week in advance, and we'll tell the community it will be on Sunday at 3 p.m. for example. Then the community goes to the marketplace, which is going to be very similar to like a Fortnite store or like a Warzone store where you go and you can pick what you want when you want your character to wear in a way. So it will be a customizable collection. You will just simply be able to change the way they look, the traits, everything, and to maybe fit more with your style or what you want to wear as your profile picture. We don't want we don't want to force you to have an NFT that you don't like, right? Just for being part of the community, because of all the benefits that we will give our community. We don't want you to have something that maybe you don't like. We want you to be able to change it to what you want it to be.
Okay, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So you're allowing users to have this NFT, but then also customize it. And these pieces that they are able to customize it with, are those also going to be NFTs, or is that something that's just basically like you click a button in a user interface?
It will be initially like you click a button with a UI. We're thinking about the idea of making some of them special edition NFTs. So just today we reached a partnership with one of the top NFT projects on Cardano, and they have never released merch ever. So a lot of people in their community, they want merch. They want hoodies or t-shirts or things like that. So we are very proud about the fact that we just reached a partnership with them, and their first piece of merch will be released through Hypebeast. So the way it will work is, if you have a Hypebeast, you can customize it with a trait from that collection that we'll design for the Hypebeast, but you will also receive that trait in real life. So when you buy it, you input your name, your address, your postal code, all your the information that we need to send you something physical, and we'll send you, for example, if it's a hoodie or a t-shirt, we'll send you that thing physically to your address. So you'll be able to wear the same hoodie that your Hypebeast is wearing, basically, in Web3.
That's
so
really
Web3
cool.
and in real life, a combination in there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. So you got like the physical item, and you've also got the digital representation with the NFT. Really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
So as far as what we're going to be talking about with the future roadmap of this, what do you guys have planned for this project going forward? I know with Cypherkicks, you were talking about, what are some of the physical aspects that you want to create with the NFT as well. Is that kind of what you're thinking about here with these physical items, or like, is there going to be even more utility that you're thinking about down the road?
So initially, what we want to do is treat Hypebeast as a Web3 fashion brand. And obviously, to be able to do this, we also need physical and real life items, right? Or, apparel. So that's the ultimate goal, is to be a bridge between Web3 fashion and real world fashion. So what we want to do is reach out to well-known projects on Cardano, on Ethereum, for example, and do create apparel in collaboration with them. We also want to reach out to like real world artists, like artists who do probably well-known artists that do maybe paintings or that do they have like their own merch or things like that. That would be really cool. But one of the main goals is reach out to fashion designers, especially up and coming fashion designers who are, just getting started. Maybe they just got an internship at, Gucci, they got an internship at Nike or something like that, and they're trying to, create a name for themselves. We want to be able to do partnerships with them in which we will be releasing, items or trades for the hypebeast, but we will also be manufacturing those items of clothing to be sent to the owners of those digital trades in Web3. Just the same example that we gave before, if you buy a trade for your hypebeast with, this jacket or something from this fashion designer, then we'll send you the same item to your house, physical item.
Yep. Wow, that's exciting. Just to think about some of the brands you mentioned, Gucci, like Nike, all these big brands, right? It's just really interesting to think about how untapped the potential is of the real world utility of NFTs. You're actually talking about being the bridge between the physical world and the digital world in that sense, where you've got this NFT, but then you can also have that physical hoodie or the physical shoes, right? So it's really interesting. Like you said, it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I think that it's really exciting to see what you guys are coming up with here.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at what's happening in Ethereum, and you look at the first year of Ethereum NFTs, it was very, very, very small. It was crypto kitties, it was, the crypto punks, but they were selling for not that much money. Like I know people who bought, Bored Apes at like 4 ETH, 5 ETH, they're worth now like 100 something ETH. And, if you compare that to Cardano, we're doing way better than they were doing during their first year. Like Cardano has seen, an explosion of popularity that is unmatched in my opinion. So I know a lot of people could think, very, very short term, like, oh no, Cardano is not gonna be like this huge. But many times they're thinking of short term, yeah. But when you think about the long term, there's a very good chance that a lot of companies will be choosing Cardano. We're more environmentally friendly. We are a better approach at, research. So it would be very, very difficult to hack a project from Adidas or Nike or Gucci or something like that on Cardano. But in Ethereum, would you be surprised if someone hacks Nike systems or the smart contract that they're using? I wouldn't be surprised, right? It's something that would simply not happen in Cardano. And I think that's one of the big things that people don't realize. We're still smaller than Ethereum, but the more we keep growing, the more artists keep joining Cardano, especially if we onboard fashion designers, that eventually go to move to better things like, working for one of these big companies. Then what's going to be on the resume? It's going to be, I release a collection of fashion, a small fashion collaboration with, Hypebeast on the Cardano blockchain. And what's going to happen is that this name, the name of Cardano, is going to be more well known in the corporate world. I mean, it's something that we want to accomplish, right? We want to make the world a better place, but I deeply believe that we cannot do this without the help of private corporations or private companies. We need them on board on Cardano. And that's one of the big things that I'm trying to work towards.
Wow. That's impressive. Very cool, Peppers. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. I know you guys have a very broad roadmap and also a very supportive community. So excited to see what you guys come up with. As far as our conversation for today, so we did touch on quite a few things. I would like to say that, just really appreciate you coming on the channel and joining us. And again, big thank you for those KAIZN Cypherkicks. I'm going to hang on to those with diamond hands. I think it's really cool to see what you guys have come up with. So to wrap up our conversation today, I just wanted to go ahead and ask you if there was any last points that you wanted to mention, and also for our audience, for anybody who does want to learn more about both your projects, Cypherkicks, Hypebeasts, where can they go? Where can they go to find you and keep up to speed with everything that you're working on?
Yep. So one of the main websites, it would be Hypebeasts with an S at the end, .shop. That's the Hypebeasts website. We have a lot of information there. We have, information about the future marketplace, the Web3 fashion aspect of the collection, and information about the revealing of the NFTs. The NFTs are actually, already available on JPEG Store. So anyone who wants to buy them, they can just visit JPEG Store, type Hypebeasts, and you will see them right there. For Cypherkicks, you can do the same thing. You can search for Cypherkicks, maybe look for a pair of sneakers you like. If you're a sneakerhead, you're more than welcome. Even if you're not, if you want to learn more about this world, you're more than welcome in our Discord. The community, like you said, is very welcoming, very passionate about what we're trying to build. It's a long-term project, so it's something that will take a little bit of time to develop. We have a clear roadmap. We have dates. Everything that we have promised, we have accomplished, and we keep building. It's like I always tell my community, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's just the truth. A rocket takes an immense amount of effort to build. It's not just like that. You have a rocket and you go to the moon. You need to build it. It needs engineering. You need a lot of talented people on board to be able to build it, and that's what we're trying to do. And the community is obviously a huge part of that. And without them, we would definitely not be here.
Wow. Well said. Well said. All right, Peppers. Well, looking forward to your progress, man. Thanks again so much for joining us on the channel. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I will be sure to leave all those links that were mentioned also down in the description. So be sure to check them out. Make sure you support these guys and see what they are up to. So, Peppers, thank you so much again, man. Until the next one, take care.